Hello and welcome to another Knit365 podcast, vlog, chat along. This is the July roundup. So it is currently Monday the 10th of August. So we're a little bit behind because this maybe should have been done last week, but I've got a day off today. So I thought it was a perfect day to record the next installment. I did think this was going to be quite a short video because I didn't think I had that much to show, but you can't see what's all going on here. As I was laying everything out to make sure I had everything to hand, there's a little bit more than I was expecting. So we'll see how we get on. I'll try and keep this to my usual 35-40 minutes. And yeah, hope you enjoy what you see today. So thank you very much, firstly, for me, just for some of the lovely comments I've got over the last few weeks. And for those of you that have taken time to like and subscribe. We're about 60 subscribers now, which this is only my third or fourth video. It's really lovely that lots of you are subscribing and interested in just some of the content that I've been recording and a little bit more about me and my knitting crochet journey, really. So thank you very much. That's kind of how I wanted to start. This video will take the same format as the previous roundup. So we'll run through some of my finished objects. We'll talk about my main works in progress. We'll come on to that in a little bit. Some stash top-ups to finish and some new purchases. So let's get straight into it. So this month, I'm going to start with my works in progress. I have 13, which is down on last month, which is a great win. So 13 works in progress. There's obviously going to be some new cast on, so that's going to go up slightly. The previous pile of the 13 is going to be 12 because there's one that's definitely going to get frogged and that will feature in its own separate video. But we've got 13 at the moment on the current pile or previous pile. And then by the end of today, because it's my day off, I'm going to cast on a shawl. So that will already become 14. But there we are. Like I've said in previous videos, lots of different projects, keeps me out of mischief, stops me getting bored. Who am I hurting? Things will get finished. And speaking of finished objects, I'm going to run through the things that I finished in the month. So I'm very quickly going to pause now. And I mentioned last month about the baby set that I'd made for our very good friends. We went to the baby shower in London. It was a glorious day. We are obviously still social distancing in the UK. So we did get a tube. We got one tube in and one tube out and we walked everyone else. So we walked 14.5 kilometers that day, pretty much from one end of London to the other. It felt like my poor little feet, but they loved the gifts that I made for them. So I'm going to stop this segment. I'm going to insert the video that I took previously, just in case they were going to watch. I didn't want to spoil any surprises. So I'm going to hand you to June Martin. Baby project then. Let me show you the things that I finished for our lovely friends Johnny and Andrea before their new little bundle of joy arrives. And yeah, I've got a good couple of things to show you that I finished in June. Let's kick off with Toft. So I haven't mentioned them that much in my videos, but if you follow me on Instagram and Twitter, you'll know I'm a huge fan of Kerry Lord and the Toft brand. The Edwards Menagerie is the reason I learned to crochet. I saw these and just think the designs are amazing. They are all natural colours, all 100% wool, designed by Kerry, and they're just the cutest little animals. So we have, because Johnny and Andrea are having a jungle-themed nursery, I believe. So we have a giraffe. Say hello to Caitlin. Now, Caitlin, obviously, as a giraffe, is very big. Caitlin is made with Toft Aran wool, and she is made in oatmeal and fudge. Might be camel, I'll clarify. But yes, she is just the cutest. And this is a large size toy, so it's made with a 5mm hook compared to the usual 3.5 or 4mm for a double knit. She's got a lovely little mane, which you get by just chaining some stitches and hooking them down to give a little bit of texture for her fur. She's got the cutest little tail, which I just love. And then the pattern in which it's not self-striping wool. You create the patches yourself by just changing colour every couple of rows. And then, as I discovered, these are called the ossicones. So these are her horns. So that's Caitlin, and I think it's going to look perfect in baby's nursery. What I did just want to show for comparison though is this is my Caitlin that I made after going on a workshop at Toft HQ. And this Caitlin is made with double knit. So this is the exact same pattern, but look at the difference. So if we just, the comparison in the legs, for example. So this is made with double knit wool. This is made with Aran weight wool. So Aran weight wool is the next size up from double knit. So it's not significantly different, but it gives you such a difference in terms of size. There is chunky wool that goes up above this again. And I did joke to Mark, I'd quite like to make a chunky giraffe. But yeah, so I'm very excited about Caitlin. So that's for baby's nursery. Then I've got a couple of cardigans. So this is the fuss-free baby cardigan. This is by Louise Tilbrook. It's a top-down raglan. This is made in Rowan pure wool worsted. There's a theme that's going to be coming. We wanted gender neutral. So this is 100% wool, but it's machine washable. So it's been treated. It's really, really nice and soft. It's not a scratchy wool. I've made quite a lot of things with this. Patterned by Louise. It's a fantastic pattern. I think there are two sizes. There's a newborn 0 to 3 months, and then there's 3 to 6 months. And yeah, just a very simple little cardigan, brown and cream, lovely little wooden buttons. We'll come back to my label shortly. So that's cardigan number 1, which I'm very excited about. Cardigan number 2 then, I've made a couple of things from this. This is the West Yorkshire Spinners Bo Peep, and these are designs by Jenny Watson. I've made a few things of this for the nieces. So I've got a very simple little grey and white cardigan. This is newborn size. It doesn't have any buttons. I decided, so personally, I don't like buttons on cardigans. I prefer just as a little jacket. And I thought for a newborn, actually, it might be quite nice to just slip on and off, because baby's going to be born end of August, early September, depending on what the British weather is like. They might not need a coat if they're going out. They might just have a nice little cardigan jacket to go on. This is the Stardust cardigan, and if I'm honest, I didn't follow the pattern properly. There's meant to be a little pattern that sits in here where you alternate different pearl stitches to give you a bit of a bumpy texture. I didn't like the look of that in the pattern, basically, and there's no such thing as the knitting police, so I just did it plain, and I kept the pattern just purely for the schematic, just to make a little jacket. So we've got that one. Then we've got the Flower Girl cardigan. So this is made in, that's West Yorkshire Spinners Bo Peep is the wool that goes with the Bo Peep storybook. So this is Tin Man is the grey, and the white is called Tooth Fairy. So that's that one. This is then also West Yorkshire Spinners Bo Peep. So this is the Flower Girl cardigan. This is in Magic, is the self-striping wool that you see here with the colour change. So we've got Magic for the main pattern, and then this lovely block green here, this is the Seahorse colourway. So we've got a coloured body and sleeves, and then a block colour border and collar. There will be buttons on this because this is aged 3 to 6 months, but because of lockdown, I haven't been able to go and get buttons. So I've blocked it, I finished it all off. The interesting thing with this is self-striping wool. So in theory, the wool just changes colour. But as I was knitting it, Mark said to me, "Oh, that's nice. They don't match." And I said, "What do you mean they don't match?" And then I realised I'd started the second front in a different place to where I started the first front. So where you can now see that the colours line up. So we have the grey into the white and the green, into the darker, back into the grey. Yes, he decided he wanted them to match. So that was okay. So I made the fronts match. He then decided he wanted the back to match. But by which point, for the back to match the fronts, and don't get me wrong, the finish, it looks great now because you can see here where the front joins the back. It is pattern matched. So you can see that the stripes match up. But by the time I got to the back, I was on the second ball of wool, and I then couldn't alternate both balls of wool at the same time to get the longer stripes for the back. So I was ripping the ball out, breaking bits off, starting another one. So the amount of ends I had to sew in on this were ridiculous. So I think I should probably not make things when Mark is around, because yeah, if I'd finished it, he'd have just lived with it, wouldn't he? So yes, that was fun. But I'm really pleased. I'm kind of glad I did it, because I think it looks fantastic the way the colours all match. And then also, as I said, gender neutral. So that's a lovely colour. And again, it's so soft. It's machine washable. It's exactly what you need. Then the final pattern for the baby blanket. This is the Zigzag Blanket by Jacinda Bowie, also West Yorkshire Spinners. And this is it. So it's a knitted blanket. You have this lovely little zigzag pattern. You can see where you've got the yarn overs, gives you a nice little texture effect. You can see the little holes in between the V's. So you get a little bumpy texture. If I hold that way, you can see you get the sort of the flatter stockinette stitch, then you've got the bumpy garter stitch. So that gives you a bit of texture, whereas on the reverse side, it's all flat. So I quite like that. So you have a little difference within the project. And then it's got a lovely edge in. I'm hoping you can see that. Yeah. Lovely little points on the triangles where you cast on and cast off. So I'm very excited that I've finished this. My little baby set. So we're gonna package that up. We are hoping to have a socially distanced baby shower picnic with them early August. They're planning it, weather permitting, coronavirus permitting, that we can all, lots of friends, go and socially distance in the park. So that will be nice, but they live in London and we live in Cardiff, so we have to hope that the Welsh Government allow us to travel. But yes, I've got a lovely little pile of clothes, very quick, very simple little baby knits. So we've got 3 cardigans, a little blanket, and a Caitlin. So there we go. And if I very quickly show you these are some labels that I had made up. My very, very talented sister-in-law, Michelle, I will pop a link to her Etsy store. AD and Duke is the name of her little hand design business. Look at that cute little bear, handmade by Martin. So I've got a little label that I can pop things on. But the most important thing is my washing label that she made me. So I can say that it is machine wash on 30. We can then say, I can't read it backwards, that it needs to be on a gentle wash, dry flat, and it's made out of wool. So I'll pop some onto these labels, but basically everything is machine washable, which is exactly what you need with a newborn. But I pop these little labels on most of my gifted projects, just so that the recipient knows, is it hand wash only? Can you not dry clean it, tumble dry? I think it's always useful to put these on, but I would never do a hand wash only for a baby, because newborn parents might turn around and go, oh, that's lovely, you made me that. And then they'll either forget, because they've got much more important things to do than worry about whether a little jacket needs to be hand washed or not. Or actually probably not then put the baby in it, because they might not want to spoil it by hand washing it. by not hand washing it. So I've got these lovely little labels. So I will pop a link to Michelle's Etsy store. Have a look, definitely recommended. Perfect little thing just to finish the bundle off. So that's it. So I'm gonna go and hand you back now to July Martin. So there we are, that was the baby set. See, previous Martin said, I'll hand you back to July Martin, but hey, life gets in the way, so we're back. They loved the set, and I'm really pleased, and that was a number of works in progress ticked off, so that was fantastic. The next thing I want to show you is the Unbearable Hoodie. I'm just gonna show a couple of pictures here. There's a whole nother blog. If you've not seen that one yet, there's a whole project specific video that follows my progress through making the Unbearable Hoodie. It was a great test knit by Max Sear. The pattern's still not released yet. I think it's due in the autumn. So keep an eye on that if you are interested. But as a little reminder, so there's those cute little bears, that lovely little Fair Isle cardigan. And then if I flick, so there's Niece 2, that's Olivia, model in the hoodie. Fair to say she loved it. She looks so cute in it. I love the ears on the hood. So that was a great project that I worked on in the month. Really enjoyed working on that one. And I said, if you're interested in understanding more about how I made that, head back and check the last video for the Unbearable Hoodie. The next project that I finished in the month, I'm on my second work in progress, second finished object even. Isn't that amazing? So I talked about this last month. This is the Mountain Mist jumper by Tin Can Knits, and I made this for my mum. So this is a top-down jumper with a Fair Isle yoke. The wool is Rowan All Seasons cotton in an ivory. And I can't remember the colours of the pinks. The pinks I had in stash from previous projects. One of them is raspberry, which I'm guessing is the darker one. I can't really remember the lighter one. Check on the Rowan page if you're interested. I'm sure they must be listed. But yes, so I finished this and Mum has tried it on. I'm going to pop a quick picture on screen now. So that's my mum wearing it. And I also got her to record a small video segment. So I'm going to pop that in here. Right, very quick video because it's the hottest day of the year and I've managed to convince my mother to put the woolly jumper on. So, smile! Look, there we go. There's the jumper. How's the fit?
Perfect.
Right, that's it. We won't have any more video. A very small video segment. We've had a bit of a heat wave the last few days here in the UK, and we were at my brother's for a socially distanced barbecue on Saturday, and I managed to convince my mum to put the woolly jumper on when it was about 28 degrees. So yes, thank you very much, Mum, and I'm glad you like it. So I made her try it on, and then I took the jumper back because I needed it to show you all in the video. So I'm really cheesed, really pleased, really chuffed, all the other happy words. And Mum loved it. So that's another finished object. So for July, that was my second finished object after the Unbearable Hoodie. And then my third finished object for the month, which I think is a Polisher Halo moment. 3 finished objects in 1 month. The lockdown has been kind to me, being able to have lots of time at home to do some crafting. I've finished my second Sandrine shawl. So last month when I talked about my plans, this was on my list for getting finished. When we recorded last, I think I was on the 5th. I'd done 5 colour changes. So I'd just done this bit here, and now you can see it has grown exponentially. So this is made in West Yorkshire Spinners The Gems, and I think it's topaz and there's a colour for the grey. I'll pop it on screen. But this is going to be a gift for Mark's mum. So last month I was umming and ahhing what we were going to do with it. We decided we're going to give it to Mark's mum. So it needs to be blocked. You can see the lace pattern. If I wash it, and I'm just going to give it a light blocking, I'm going to hang it on the washing line and put pegs on each of the scallops. So then the pattern will just drop slightly. And then you'll see the lace open up, which will be a little bit nicer to look at. So it needs to have a block. But this is done on a 3.5mm hook. The previous one that I did, the grey one, was done on a 4mm. This was also a double knit. So this is an interesting thing about knitting and crochet and gauge, and everyone's tension, the way you create the stitches is slightly different. The previous grey shawl that I did was on a 4mm hook. This is on a 3.5mm hook. Both wool though are double knit, the weight of the yarn, but this is a lot finer than the grey wool that I use, so I went down a hook size. The grey pattern had 11 repeats. This has got 13, and they're pretty much about the same size. I don't have the grey one to hand, so I can't hold them up, but I think they're pretty much the same size. Certainly, this one needed a couple of extra rounds to make it the same size as the grey one. So I think that it's a nice size now. A couple of extra rounds, you know, once you're in on the 5th round of the pattern, you just keep going. It's a 4 pattern repeat. And again, it's really helped my crochet confidence. So we'll come on to that in a moment. But the next project I'm going to set myself as a crochet challenge. So yeah, so I'm really pleased with my second Sandrine shawl. So as with last month, the pattern is a free pattern by the lovely Gail over on Facebook. I'll pop a link in below. And if you're new to crochet and have never crocheted a garment before, absolutely check this out. There's videos that go along with every step and every stitch. So there's lots of pattern support. There's lots of chatter in Gail's Facebook group as well, Crochet with Gail on Facebook. Lots of people cheering along and lots of people helping out. So that's it for finished objects. So 3 finished objects for the month. Feeling very happy. I think that's quite productive. So let's move on to works in progress. So I said I've got 13. Which is down on last month, because as you can see, I'm finishing things. But in reality, I've got 13 works in progress. I'm not actively working on 13. So I set myself a couple of challenges last month, as you'll know if you watched that video. And one of them was my Rory cardigan. So I will pop a quick video, a quick photo on screen. But I said last month, I wanted to finish sleeve 1 and probably sleeve 2. And I've done it. However, I had to make the sleeves twice because I did sleeve 1 and I'd cast that on back in March when we went to Krakow. So I only had about this much of sleeve 1 to do, which was why it was a realistic task. Finish sleeve 1, do sleeve 2. But I finished sleeve 1, and let me see if I can quickly find the photograph to show you. Here, look how long the sleeve is. So you can see where my wrist is, and you can see how much material comes down. So I finished the sleeve, I put it on, I tested it, and I was like, not really happy. Plow on with sleeve 2, it'll all be fine. The more I thought about it, it kind of stewed with me, and I thought, no, I don't like that. So I'd got halfway up sleeve 2 before I then decided that I didn't like it. This is a pattern for a cardigan, and the designer had also made a jumper. I'd also designed a jumper that I had made previously. And when I looked at the jumper pattern, there were 6 stitches different between the sleeves for the jumper and the sleeves for the cardigan, which didn't make much sense. I don't know why the sleeves on the cardigan are that much bigger. So I decided I'd rip it back, and I started the sleeve again using the measurements for the jumper, not the cardigan. So that was fine. And the sleeve now, the width is great. The other thing I noticed with the sleeve though is it's a set-in sleeve, so you can see a little bit on my t-shirt. So here's the seam, and that's where the sleeve will go on the cardigan. But in order for it to sit on the end of my wrist and come to here, the sleeve the first time around kind of came up to here. So not only was it too long and too wide, which again didn't make much sense. So when I ripped it back, I made an executive decision to alter the pattern. So I've taken 5 centimeters out of the pattern, and I took it out. So I've made the pattern up to the shaping, and then I've just knitted the top. So it's 5 centimeters shorter than it needs to be, according to the instructions. But I think that's gonna be okay. Worst case scenario, when I come to fit it together, if the armholes don't quite match, I might need to just undo the sleeve cap and add a little bit of length back into it. But I think based on my measurements, I'm gonna be fine. And in the pattern, in the picture, there's a load of gather on the wrists, and I don't like that. This is a jumper that I wanna make, a cardigan I wanna make for myself, that I want to last long term. So I thought, if I make it and it doesn't fit properly, I'm never going to wear it. It's just going to sit in the wardrobe. That's a waste of my time. It's a waste of wool. So I've adjusted it. So we will see. But that's a long-winded way of saying I hit my July target because I've made 2 sleeves. But I actually made 3.5 sleeves because I finished them and then I had to redo them. So 2 sleeves to the length that I want them. And I've also, I started the fronts of the jumper in July. Oh no, that's a sleeve. I started the fronts of the jumper in July. I got about this far. And then in the last 10 days, so into August, I've done 1 front and I've also done 2 fronts. So, making great progress. So we have 2 fronts, 2 sleeves, and I have cast on for the back. So I'm kind of doing it in reverse. I think I said last time, I didn't want to do the back, the fronts, and then get bored on the sleeves because I would never finish them. So I'm making great progress on my Rory cardigan. So I've cast on the sleeves, cast on the back now, and I'm going to continue to plod through that for the rest of August. Once I've done the back, it then just needs sewing up and I've got to put the collar on. So I might finish that in August. I might not. I've enjoyed working on it, but it is just a lot of mindless stocking stitch. So it's perfect for watching TV, but it's not the most interesting of projects. So I've hit my milestone. I've done the fronts, I've done the sleeves, so I'm nearly there. So we'll continue to work on that for August, but I'm not going to commit to you now that I'm going to have that finished by the time we meet next. Probably not going to happen. So that's my Rory cardigan. The other main project that I'm going to work on is socks. So I can knit socks. I don't mind knitting socks, but they are more of an out and about project because you can just grab a small bag, another gem, a little grey girl, and take them with you. So this is the Bob sock by Louise Tilbrook. And I believe this is the Goldfinch colourway by West Yorkshire Spinners. So it's fantastic colours. And these are socks for Mark. So I've finished the foot and I'm now just going to put the toe on. And then that is sock 1 done. And then I just need to do sock number 2. The reason I've dragged this out of my works in progress pile is obviously I have a lot of works in progress that I need to finish and work down on. But the lovely Angela from Yarn and Yarns, one of my local yarn shops, is running a summer sock along. So by the middle of September, any pairs of socks that you have finished that will be entered into a prize draw and you can win some yarn. I mean, who doesn't want to win yarn? So yeah, so it was the bit of encouragement because I was like, oh, I've got a sock. I kind of actually did those faces like, oh, that's nice. Oh, I haven't really got any socks. Oh, yeah, I have. And then it dawned on me. So these have been started January 2018, I think it was. They'd like been languishing for quite a while. I think what happened was I made Mark some socks for Christmas, started this sock. He then decided that the socks I made him he didn't really like, which kind of made me lose a bit of my mojo. And I was like, oh, well, there's no point me finishing that one then, is there? And it went into the stash and hasn't seen the light of day since. But now he's decided he likes knitted socks because this one fits a lot better. We've adapted the pattern marginally to make it a bit smaller. He's got very small legs and very small feet. So, yeah, I'm going to get this one finished. Maybe today. It's only the toe. And then we'll start the second sock. So I want to finish that this month because then that means I can enter the competition to win more yarn. So there's always an incentive there, isn't there, to finish another project. And that's kind of my two main works in progress that I'm going to work on for August. So that's the Rory cardigan and the bob socks. But of course, it wouldn't be a knitting vlog without some new projects. And it wouldn't be me if I wasn't adding to my already big pile of works in progress by starting new things. So I've got a couple of things that I want to mention. The herbivore shawl I called out last month as a project that I wanted to start. I didn't start it because I was working on the other projects, but I still really love that shawl and I really want to get it started. So I might start that today because I've done quite a lot of work on that cardigan. So this will be a nice little project for me, but it'll be something new and something completely different. So I did say I was going to do that last month and I didn't. So the herbivore shawl is hopefully going to get done. Then there's a jumper for Mark. Now, I hear you. There's too many jumpers. There are too many things happening. But he's been on about this jumper and he bought the wool 2.5 years ago. And he did say, any chance of me having this jumper? So I kind of feel like I probably should get the jumper going. It is an Argyle tank top. So it's a lovely, lovely pattern. But very complicated because the entire thing is pretty much colour work. It's all intarsia, so it's all going to be little individual bobbins. I might do a project video about that one actually, because that's going to be, I think it'll be quite interesting, but actually it'd be probably a little bit repetitive, so maybe I won't, because I've got some other project videos in mind. You see how my mind works? Yeah, we'll see. Anyway, so he's asked me if I can push that up the pile. We've got the wool. I said he bought it 2.5 years ago when we went to the Wonderwool Yarn Festival. So we shall see. So I'm hoping that I'm going to cast that on because he's asked, and I'm good like that. So that's the Argyle V-neck, and that is a pattern by Martin Story, I believe, and that is an old-fashioned book pattern that the lovely Jenny from Ammonite Yarns lent me when many months ago, maybe even been 2.5 years ago, not long after I bought the wool. No, it would have been before 2.5 years ago because she lent me the pattern book and I then went to buy the wool. So Jenny, I still have your book. But that is a lovely older pattern that I'm going to get going for Mark. And then the next thing I'm going to make, and this is exciting. Again, I've had this on the knee in plan for probably a year. Meet Morag. So this is Morag, the Highland Coo, and it is a fantastic design by Kerry Lord of Toft. And I've talked in some other videos about my love of Toft. Look, there's my little mini Morag. She's so cute. She was the Edinburgh Yarn Festival special last year. So I made my Morag and no, she was the Edinburgh special the year before that. Last year was Douglas the ram with the coloured horns. So I've got Morag following on from the little Morag, and this is it's got two uses. It can either be, drop a pencil, it can either be a giant cushion. It's all gone to pot now. I'm not editing this out. You can see how crazy it is. It can either be a giant cushion or it can be mounted I don't know why I'm doing this, mounted on the wall, like a head. And we think we're gonna mount it on the wall in the living room. But I'm very excited because it's super chunky yarn. So this is gonna be crocheted on an 8mm hook. It's gonna be the biggest thing that I've crocheted. So we've got the lovely fudge colorway, which will be the main body of the main part of the head, which you can't see behind the fur. I'll show you that in a minute, but you can see it's on the ears. So we've got fudge, and then we've got oatmeal for the horns and the snout. And then we've got this fantastic fudge, but in a woven yarn. So look at this. So this is actually what we would spin with. So this is the raw fibre, effectively, once you've taken it off the sheep. And obviously done lots of things to it, because no sheeps look like this. But this is the actual fibre. And then what you'll do is we'll take sections of the fibre and then you create knots with it that sits into the actual crochet that create the fur. So I'm very excited about that. And again, I'm just dragged this out of my my stash because Mark said, "Where are we with more rag?" As he often does. And I was like, she's in a box in the living room somewhere. So I've dug the box out and I'm going to start more rag. It's an 8mm hook, as I said, super chunky. It should be done this month because it shouldn't be that long a project. But I'm very mindful that I often say, oh, that'll be a quick thing, and then it takes me 6 months to do. So we shall see. But I'm very excited to use this woven and get the fur in place. And then the final project that I'm going to work on in August, and I'm definitely going to start this. This is the Boho blanket. So it's a Stylecraft pattern, and buoyed by the success and my confidence of my Sandrine shawl, where I don't think I'm a very confident crocheter. I can do the edge menagerie, I can kind of do my animals, I can go around in a circle, I get some of the techniques. I've never really worked on proper projects or garment projects. So I've done my shawl, and then you see lots of crochet kits for blankets and things. And I've always kind of liked the idea of getting a kit, working on it, and finishing quite a big project like a blanket. So I saw this and I'd been eyeing it up in Ammonite Yarns for many months, and they put it in the sale items. So they knew exactly what they were doing, because as soon as it went in the sale item, I was like, well, it would be rude not to, wouldn't it? So I've got this, and this does move us neatly into stash top up, because anyone for wool? So this is all of the wool to make the blanket. So it's a great project because all the wool comes and the pattern. Yeah, I'm definitely going to do a project video that follows this. I'm going to be having a private lesson with Gail because there's some new to me techniques. I have no idea what I'm doing with some of these things. And I look at the crochet pattern, I'm like, wouldn't know where to start. So I bought this, and it's going to be a gift for Mark's mum for Christmas. So she loves blankets, sitting in the evening, reading or watching telly. She'll wrap herself up in a blanket around her leg. So I saw this and thought, I've now got a reason to make it. So I'm going to do that for Mark's mum. Bought all the wool that came with it, as I said, in the kit. So this is a combination of Stylecraft Life double knit and Stylecraft Special double knit. So yeah, so I'm very excited about working on that one. So my plan is that that's a Christmas present, but said new to me crochet techniques. I'm not going to leave that until November and then panic. So I'm going to start that this month and then try and do a little bit every month. You can probably see in the pattern. So here we have some color changing granny squares, then we have some flowers, then we go into stripes, and then it repeats. So I might try and say, do these granny square sections this month, and then next month I'll do the flowers, then next month the stripes. just try and break it up between now and Christmas. So I'm going to start that. And that takes us into the stash top-up, because I've obviously bought this. This doesn't fit in my stash anywhere. Not even I can sneak the odd ball of wool in and make that disappear. No. So Mark is fully aware of that when it just sits in the corner. He's like, are you going to start that? Yes. Gail's on holiday at the moment. I can't. I need Gail. I can't start it. And then the other stash acquisition that I bought this month is some fantastic yarn from a new dyer who is on Instagram as James Makes Things. And James makes yarn now, which is amazing. Look at these two skeins. So this is his denim colorway. It is a 75% merino, 25% nylon. It's a fingering weight yarn. And of course it's going to be a shawl. So I bought two skeins, and my plan is I'm going to make this, which is a lovely large shawl that I think will really show off. And you've got the eyelets in the design. I think that will show off that wool fantastically. So I'm hoping to start that this month as well. That's not going to happen though. So that's going to go in the long-term stash, I think. But it will join the queue for my shawls. That is the Glacier Sweep by Stephen West. So I'm going to start my herbivore shawl this month. And then I've got another 2 or 3 shawl patterns lined up. So I've got the wool, I've got the shawl. So when I finish my herbivore, this one might be next. I've got some Countess Ablaze yarn as well to do a dotted rays shawl. But I kind of feel like I need to have a shawl on the go, because they're very portable, certainly in the early days, but often you get into a rhythm with the pattern. So again, similar to my Rory cardigan, it will be a good project to be able to watch telly, because it's just mindless back and forth then. So that's my plan with this. It's going to be the Glacier Sweep, but a great yarn from James. This was his first release, so I was really excited to be able to get in and grab myself some yarn. And it comes, I'm a sucker for all the marketing and the packaging. It came all neatly wrapped up. I had a little card with a handwritten note, which is such a lovely little touch. Some tea. Do you know, you can always tell an indie dyer, and it's fantastic to be able to support people, and especially support James with his first foray into dyeing. Shortly after his first shop update, he did another update, and that sold out again in like 10 minutes. So it's fantastic that he's getting some recognition for the great wool that he's been dyeing up. So I can't wait to start that one. And that really is it, I believe. So this video is 25 minutes. Yeah, I think we're on track. Obviously, you've had other videos and segments and bits edited in, so I think we're probably at a reasonable time to stop. So I just want to say thank you very much for spending some time with me today. I hope again you've enjoyed hearing a bit more about my plans for the next month. I've had some great feedback, especially on the project videos, where people have really seemed to have enjoyed me taking something right from the very beginning and following it through. I've got another couple of project videos already started, which will follow. You know, as a minimum, I'm going to post a video once a month that will be at the beginning of the month, talking about what I did the month before and what my plans are for the coming month. And then hopefully every couple of weeks we'll try and intersperse a project video. But yeah, I'm going to leave it there. Please, if you are a new viewer and you have stumbled upon my channel and you've liked what you've seen, please like and subscribe. If you are a returning viewer, as I said at the beginning, thank you very much for giving me a little bit of your time and coming back. And I really appreciated all of the comments. I know I've been a bit tardy in replying to some of the comments, so I will promise to get better at remembering to check in and see what people have been saying. But I've been really pleased to meet new people on YouTube and meet new people on Instagram as well, which is fantastic. So I'm going to leave it there. Any comments on this episode, any thoughts, questions, please leave me a comment below. What are you working on? What are your plans for August? Let me know. I'm really keen to see what other people are making. I'm a little bit nosy like that. So there we go. So we'll leave it there. So until next time, happy crafting.